Oh, boy, it's after 5 o'clock. This has not been the best of days. It's Sunday. Muggs is barking. I put a tiny dent in the tailgate of my Suburban. I hit it on the little wheel that rolls this thing around. Muggs, why are you barking? You don't have to bark. And then I went to put some diesel in. I left the gas cap on my back bumper, so that's gone. I went looking for it for half an hour, no gas cap. And then I got here to put the transmission in, and I realized that I forgot the seals. So I had to go home and get the seals and waste an hour there. And now I realize I don't have the pan gasket. But that's not a big deal because I can put the tranny in and drop the pan after. What I did do, though, a few minutes ago is I tipped the transmission so it was just tilted over, and I sprayed brake cleaner to get the little chunks and monks and skunks out of the transmission. And then I got a text message from Spike Punk reminding me to tighten the pump bolts, and those are tight. And I tightened down all the valve body bolts. I just did it to what I thought was the right setting with my built-in torque wrench arm. And I got the seal in. I'll put some grease on that before I put the torque converter on. I've got to change the dipstick seal, but that was probably just changed. It comes right out right there. That's an after-the-fact part. And I tightened everything down. The only thing I'm missing is a tie wrap to hold this wire for the force motor solenoid. Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad idea to put a tie wrap around it, but I don't have one here. But I can put it on later. So this is hardly a clean room. Yeah, just swept the floor. Just had a little young neighbor come over, 14-year-old neighbor, and he says, "Wow, 2500, my dad would like this truck to tow our camper. We only have a 1500. I said, "I wish I had a 1-ton. Anyhow. So I just sprayed the brake cleaner, and I got some on my arm right there, and I can feel it burning. I don't know what that's from. Oh, that's from the muffler on the lawnmower. That's my tattoo. I was putting the belt on, it fell off when I hit a pothole of all crazy things. So I'm just going to look around for little chunks of dirt and debris. Yeah, this ain't no vacuum clean room, that's for sure. But I'll change the oil after I get it running and go up and down the road a couple times. I'll dump it and put new oil in. That's the price you got to pay, $2.25 a liter to get it right. See the little valve I put in here? The spring-loaded valve, part of the shift kit. That works well. And I drilled some things, and I got some paper chunks. I drilled some little holes here and there with Spike Punk. Alright, time to put the pan on, put the torque converter on, and put it on top of my motorcycle jack and crank this baby up. It's about time. This transmission blew on the way back from Iowa a year and a half ago. July 2011. It's been a while, huh? Or was it 2010? It was 2010. The way back from Iowa, it blew. Had it rebuilt by the local yokel. And that lasted all of 500 miles. Until last spring when I took it out for the first time. There we go. Time to put the bolts in and get it done.
Go to Shakespeare.
Well, my buddy Joe 2 Subs, Joe the number 2, SUBS, Joe 2 Suburbans, emailed me or texted me. He says, "There's a Suburban just like yours in Baltimore," or wherever it was. I said, "I got enough Suburbans, give me a break." Maybe I'll go buy it. Anyhow, alright. So, I've got the torque converter that was rebuilt by my buddy in New Jersey. And I'm going to dribble some oil on it with my stamped steel brake spoon. Thought he had sent me some assembly lube, which is just glorified, overpriced Vaseline, but I don't know where it is, and everything else is half an hour away. So Mr. CW is cutting the grass. Muggs is sitting in his little bed on the top of the driveway. I'll put some Slurpee on this. And I'll jam it onto the transmission, hammer it in place. Hopefully I have the right seal to seal the torque converter inside to the outside. I'll show it to you in a second. I'll lube this baby up. The seal that I found that fits is this skinny little seal on the input shaft. I'm trying to balance the torque converter between my legs so it shouldn't topple over. It's a skinny little seal. Seems to fit the best of all the seals that I tried. I was using some of these baby wipes. They're no good. They dump tons of lint. They're lint factories. So I'm going to toss this. Oop, there it goes. It's the heaviest of all the torque converters, the 4L80 torque converter of all the torque converters. Put the cap on the transmission oil so I don't dump it. Put the cap on my diesel fuel tank on the Suburban so I don't lose it. Oop, I forgot it at the gas station. Yep, sometimes I put it on the pump, sometimes I put it on my bumper, and every time I do that I think I'll never forget this, but otherwise it'll be a doofus. There goes the transmission jack. Rolling, rolling, rolling. It's got to make multiple bunch of clunks as it engages on the various elements. Clunk. That's it, ready to install. Yeah, right. Gotta make sure it's up all the way against the pump. Nope. I got the radio show Says You playing right now. This isn't very steady. Wants to roll. Actually, it has some little screws you can set down to push it against the concrete that it's lying on. I don't know if you can see this in your field of view. There. Now she won't roll. I saw a big tranny jack at the Stowe flea market car show, but the guy wasn't around and I forgot about it. I think that's it. Now, as an issue of dispute, when my buddy bought this truck from me 2 years ago, yeah, it's about 2 years ago after I got back from Iowa. He pulled the tranny. I brought it with him to the tranny shop. The guy said he'd rebuild it for $1,300 cash and carry. He did an absolutely terrible job. My buddy tried to put it back in, but he said he couldn't get the torque converter to engage in the pump. I never got the whole story because sometimes people just don't want to spill the beans. He said he couldn't engage the torque converter into the pump, into the elements. And he's done this before, maybe more times than I've done it. But he says it wouldn't go. So he tried to put it in and he mangled something, so he took it all, truck and transmission and torque converter to the shop and had rebuilt this tranny, did a terrible job rebuilding it, worse than terrible, sabotaged, destined to fail. And the guy said that it was mangled, and my buddy said he ground something down, and I don't know, I'll never get the whole story. I got one guy who's a thief and one guy who's just not able to tell me, to convey the issue at hand. We've got some cobwebs and some grass here. So the next thing I'm going to do, now that it's engaged, and I can tell it's all the way in, because it's as close as it can get to the transmission case, really. And you rotate it a bunch of times. Couldn't hurt, because remember, when this thing starts up, it's going to be spinning pretty fast. And everything's free. Funny, huh, how it does that? I guess it ain't no Japanese precision tolerance, it's American. I'm pretty sure it's all the way in. Pretty sure. Now I'll roll the transmission jack underneath the truck. I haven't checked my phone to see if Spike's punk got back to me. One new message. Inbox. Your beekeeper. Chump change. Hope Fruit Loops gets his head straight. Put a chain on the gas cap. Yeah, right. Yeah, Fruit Loops is back, but is getting some help with his situation. I haven't spoken to him, no, nor has Mrs. CW, but she spoke to his girlfriend, who's a nice girl. I've met her. Except that she smokes, and he smokes, and that's a bad thing. Bad, 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 bad. Nothing good comes of it. It's just a stupid habit you pick up, and you can't drop, and you're gonna quit, and blah, 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 blah. Clunk. When I dropped the tranny, I had the transfer case on it. I'm going to put the transfer case on after, so give me a minute to struggle with this thing. I may have to jack up the truck more because it may hit the frame. It probably will. I don't want you to see that part, though. I'm going to hide it from you. For L80E, get this transmission installed. Crank this brother up!